Hey everyone, how's everybody doing? It's almost Wednesday. I'm exhausted. I did want to provide this little Facebook Live update and appreciate Steven, the shout out, cool graphics on the time going down. It's me. I know it doesn't look like me. I look like a weathered man. I'm definitely out of steam, but I got to get some energy here for this system coming in. So we got a lot to talk about. I'll try to go through this as fast as possible, but I'm very concerned in parts of the natural state. Maybe not so much Northwest Arkansas for tornado potential. It's going to be tough to get here, but I'm going to highlight all the details and we're going to run all through it. But first of all, we got some big systems rolling in for Wednesday and Thursday. Already Wednesday, tomorrow, we've got thunderstorm potential in the River Valley. So let's highlight it. And the newest update, the newest outlook, I said update, the newest update is coming out Wednesday afternoon into the evening for the severe weather risk comes out in less than an hour. So we'll see if this does in fact update. The day two outlook will be probably out about 1 o'clock in the morning. Would not be surprised to see a moderate risk for the area for the day two. And I do believe, and I'm going to call it right now, I think this is going high risk. I think we're going to have the first high risk in several months. And we've got a big system on our hands. So let's dive into it. We take a look at the tornado risk. You'll notice how it clips the river valley. So it's not really in Northwest Arkansas, but thunderstorms will still be possible in Northwest Arkansas. So right about noon, we're going to start seeing some development. Now, remember, the models aren't perfect in predicting exactly where the precipitation is. There you see the future track showing those showers and storms that are popping up across the area. That's definitely a potential that will continue to happen. So we're going to have to watch that. Also, the storms that do develop in Northwest Arkansas would be mainly what we call hailers. And so basically elevated storms that really don't have that tornado potential as much. So let me continue to do this countdown here and we'll show you Wednesday night. Everything kind of clears out. Maybe we'll get a little break. Go back off of that. All right. So here's what I'm going to show you. That was weird. Something popped up on there. All right. So here's a look at Thursday morning. Everything's kind of quiet. But then here is the day three outlook that will be updated to the day two at about 1 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Now, I'm very concerned about this system. I do not like the looks of it. The system is very intense. It's very strong. I'll show you all this, but this is bad news, especially in the River Valley. Folks, if you're listening in Scott County, in Logan County, in LaFleur County, even Southern Sebastian County, this is trouble. Thursday morning all the way through Thursday night. So basically all day, there's going to be rounds of storms, which is typical with very intense systems. Now, there is a very large hatched area. In fact, when we zoom out, you're going to see that hatched area goes all across eastern Texas, southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, western Mississippi. And this is just the day three outlook. That's huge for and it's significant. So again, that significant means tornado potential, EF2, EF5 tornadoes, and a greater probability of that happening within certain miles of a point. And not only that, but you've got large hail, 2 inches or greater in diameter. Just bear with me, man. I'm kind of running out of steam. But here's the deal, patients. I don't know where you're at, but I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of storm activity tomorrow afternoon. So don't read into the forecast differently. I don't think there's going to be many problems tomorrow. There's a chance of a straight pop-up storm, but I don't see a whole lot happening in Northwest Arkansas tomorrow. Now, Thursday is a different story. Let's time this out. So there's a chance that in the morning hours, there's going to be thunderstorms that pop up, and these will be what we call elevated thunderstorms that will produce some pretty sizable hail. Now, this will be the warning shot off of the bow from Mother Nature, meaning there's a ship nearby and it's about to sink us. You know how that is. You can see the thunderstorms popping up. Now, here's where the energy really starts to move in. And let me tell you, it is a lot, and I mean a lot of energy. Now look at this. This is 9 o'clock in the evening. The data runs out. The model drops off. But these are some isolated supercells that could really, really pack a punch. So here's a look at the excessive rainfall forecast that's got a level 3 out of 4. Now, these aren't issued very often, the moderate risks of excessive rainfall. This is on the day 3, folks. That's tremendous. That shows you the potential for some real heavy rain and significant storm potential. And we look at the rain totals, and we could be looking at 2 to 3 plus inches across the area. So that's a lot of storms. Let's look at a different model here. This is, by the way, brand new and updated. And let's kind of time through. I got a little bit of time on Facebook Live, unlike the newscast where I'm just going as fast as I possibly can. Here's a look at, see, Wednesday, I don't think there's going to be many problems, although I think the models are way underdone with the temperatures. They blew it big time. They were terrible today as we hit upper 70s and lower 80s. Really, the models being colder than it should be really affects your instability forecast. But notice how those storms pop up. In fact, this barely has anything. I don't buy that at all. That's terrible. It does have storms in southern Arkansas. And then you can see as the energy moves out, more high clouds rolling in. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it does have this isolated development. Now, that doesn't look like much to shake a stick at, but this energy coming in will bring the potential for already some hail storms in the morning hours. Then that's when things start erupting, is Thursday night. Now, even though we're not in the tornado risk, we could see that potential for significant wind damage. And then you can see that tornado potential really lining up. Now, again, I don't really have a lot of faith in that model. You get an idea of what's going to happen, but it's not a real good one. I do believe temperatures are in the 70s, not lower 60s tomorrow, like it showed. Here's a look at the precipitation that's going to be ramping up dramatically and becomes 100% by Thursday night, as you saw. Widespread precipitation. Let's take a look at the 3-kilometer dam. So that shows a little bit more shower activity popping up. And we're going to look at the Texas Tech WRF here in just a second. But that does have some thunderstorms rolling through. And I believe that. I believe in the River Valley, there's going to be some storms that pop up. Wednesday is going to be pretty quiet, though, in Northwest Arkansas because of the energy that's being focused. Now, the one thing you got to be concerned about is, are the models handling all the energy off of Baja? Because we've known from previous history and from past experiences that it doesn't handle that well. Here's Thursday, and it doesn't really show a whole lot of storm activity, but then things will really ramp up. And watch what happens, too, with this low as the cold air wraps around. In fact, let me show you this real fast. So here is that snow potential. I still think there is going to be some heavy, wet snow that falls in parts of Northwest Arkansas. It doesn't last long. That's not going to be the big story. But we are going to get a big story for this severe weather potential. And by the way, this low, absolutely cranking. So with that being said, let's take a look at the this is the HRRR. We're going to look more into this and some of the computer models online. But this is the significant tornado parameter. Watch how rapidly the environment takes over and changes as that moisture and instability starts surging north. Now, that's close, but it doesn't quite show it in Northwest Arkansas. So now here's what we've got to do. We've got to look at some other models. That's exactly what we're going to do right now. So we're going to take a look at, this is from Weather Bell, the HRRR, and we already looked at this. But what I wanted to show you here was the storm relative helicity here and the helicity tracks. So a lot of this is focused in southern Arkansas, but you'll notice additional storms still popping up, including one in the River Valley that really doesn't look good. So the River Valley is really under the gun with this system. However, there's always a chance that it lifts northward a lot more than expected, because the reason that the model doesn't have much instability is, let's look at the amount of thunderstorm activity, which could be overdone because of the capping inversion. And you can see all this right here. Now, if this all happens, then yes, we're going to be cooled and we won't see as much significant severe potential. But if it doesn't happen, then these storms coming in right here will be much stronger than what that shows. Either way, that's a pretty intense storm in the river valley. Southern Sebastian County, LaFleur County, and eastern Oklahoma, Scott County, Logan County. You guys really need to watch this system. Can we let our guard down in Northwest Arkansas? Not so much, because here's a different model, which, by the way, is a fantastic model, the 3-kilometer real-time WRF. Watch what happens with the tornado parameter on this one. Now look at the energy that's moving in on Thursday, and look at what happens here. That starts lifting northward right here. You see that? That makes it all the way into Washington County for that significant tornado parameter. So there's a chance that even though the models aren't showing anything in Northwest Arkansas, that it still could come up here and produce some interesting things. And you can see this with the updraft helicity. Look at all these tracks, by the way. You won't believe this when we look at updraft helicity tracks. So first of all, let's take a look at what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow, for those that are watching not within the area, Dallas-Fort Worth really needs to watch it, especially tomorrow afternoon and into the evening. So here's a look at the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Let's see if we've got a little bit more on this current run. Yeah, so there's the Dallas-Fort Worth. Whoa, look at that. That's some pretty nasty storms right there. And then those lift to the northeast. Those impact southern sections of our weather coverage area with hail potential, probably not as much tornado activity. But tomorrow's no slouch. It's a strong system. And I expect to be upgraded to the slight instead of the marginal for that system. So that only goes out 22 hours. Now we got to go to 22. Notice the thunderstorm activity. And then Thursday is when things go bonkers. Watch this here. So first of all, we get in the morning hours, updraft helicity tracks. Now, I don't believe the tornado potential is going to be there Thursday morning for us. However, hail potential is very real. So a morning commute on Thursday. And I'll get to your comments here in just a bit, but I'm looking at this model with you full screen, so I can't see your comments right now. But you'll notice additional storms popping up. Look at all the energy off to the west. This is just an intense, massive system. All this stuff will be spinning. Look at how that comes into Northwest Arkansas. There's additional storms that pop up. So we're not out of the woods by any means. We can't just write this system off and be like, the instability is not coming north. Watch how low this pressure gets on the NAM. This is something else to behold. Like, you don't get a lot of systems that reach a 982 low pressure system. This is a surface low at 982. That's very intense. And if we look at some of the stuff that's in here, like, for instance, composite reflectivity, this will show you what the radar is supposed to look like. That's pretty active right there. And maybe more of a linear activity, but also there's going to be some isolated supercells because of the amount of strength of it with this energy. So a lot going on for sure, and we still don't know all the details. But if we do this and we look at severe weather, I'll show you a really, really favorable tornado sounding. So we'll take a look at this. Here is in south central Arkansas, the significant tornado parameter. And there you go. That's about as classic in this textbook as it gets, except the critical angle is not perfect. But if that wind backs a little bit more than expected, which is certainly possible, you've got a pretty good storm motion, especially with those westerlies coming in. Notice the supercells, 20.5, significant tornado parameter, 6.3, and not much sin. 0 to 3 kilometer cape is 129, 70 over 68, scraping cloud bases, LCL, LFC, lifted condensation level of free convection. It's all low, and that's a very favorable profile. So that's about as classic as it gets for tornado potential. But again, the reason it's not showing it farther north is because of all the early day convection. Does that truly happen? That remains to be seen. Here's a look at the wrap for, and I'll show you this as we go to, let's go to the 15Z wrap. This actually has some thunderstorms popping up in parts of northwest Arkansas by tomorrow afternoon. So if we look at this surface pressure, reflectivity type, you're going to see the wrap that shows thunderstorms popping up. Maybe not as much, but regardless, big time system. Last thing I'm going to leave you with is this. This is a weather blog that Josh Rugger put together. And that's actually the storm system from Sunday. This is the one that's for today. So if you ever notice, you go to Weather tab and you go to Weather Blog up here at the top. And typically we update every time there's a big system coming in. So the newest updated risk is going to be out shortly. There's a look at all the information along with timing. Josh did an amazing job on this, worked really hard. So I urge you to look at it and read it. And we'll be updating this tomorrow morning with the latest information. So, a lot going on, some really excellent information, and a lot of stuff going on. All right, let me get to some real quick questions here. Looks like I don't have a lot, and that's nice. So, not to say that I don't, don't like your questions. It's just nice to see not a whole lot. Do you think Bentonville will see hail? It all depends on where those storms track, but the potential is there for hail, especially Thursday morning. No, we don't have a 50-50 chance in Northwest Arkansas. We have a 100% chance that we will see rain and storms. Laura said, I'm already hurting so bad. And you should, because this is a really, really intense system. In fact, I showed this earlier on the newscast, and I think it really deserves a good look. This is that energy that's coming in from the West Coast. Now, watch as we put this into motion. This is just incredible how this storm system evolves. So, first of all, look at all that thunderstorm activity out ahead of it. So, remember, the greatest lift is ahead of the actual circulation. And that's where the thunderstorms are. Now, watch, we talked about this yesterday. This becomes a negatively tilted trough. All the models are showing that. When this thing swings in, boy, is it going to get not only windy on Friday, but very intense precipitation initially when that comes through. So your 50-50 chance isn't so 50-50. In fact, I never go 50-50. I hate going 50. You'll never see me go 50. In fact, I don't even have 50 on this measured. The only time it shows 50 is if the computer model puts it out, and then I immediately change it. But there's going to be a little bit of a lull in precipitation Wednesday, but an isolated storm chance. But by Thursday night, we really crank up that precipitation in a major way. Go get some rest. I do. In fact, it was so busy, I didn't even have time to do a forecast sheet. It is unbelievable. Dan, I think to call it maybe sometime Thursday morning and late morning, probably going to be a tornado watch for almost 52 counties. I think that's going to be a good possibility. I wonder if this is why my ears are messing up. It's a possibility. Pressure is getting really low. No 8-ball for this deal. It's going to be crazy a few days. Yeah, I don't think we need the 8-ball now. Yes, I know, Alex, but you know what? You are beyond the norm because that's not really true. There were some wind gusts that were well over 30, and there were tree damage reports that happened with branches that came down. We always mention how the threat would be lessening, and it does. But sometimes it doesn't. Just like when you said the Springdale tornado wouldn't be a big deal the night before, and I remember that you said there wasn't going to be anything, and then we had an EF3 that came through at 4 a.m. So it doesn't always die out. Sounds like I'll be driving through it twice. Yeah, it's possible. What was the highest wind gust the other night? We had 61 for Northwest Arkansas. My head is pounding like it used to right before a hurricane. This low pressure system's coming. A lightning show beyond epic proportions, man. It's going to be pretty impressive. Sorry, man. Got to tell it like it is. You're going to rub me, you're going to rattle my cage. I'll do the same thing. But I do remember that. You think we may see a level 4 in the River Valley? Absolutely. I think there's going to be a high risk. I think the River Valley gets included in that and we'll have to see. Let's see if the newest update came out. Man, the lightning is just going to be outrageous. We're going to have every type of lightning, meso lightning, anvil crawlers. I mean, with that much energy that's coming in, just look at this system. Let's just gaze at this thing. This is just unbelievable. Number one, you've got all this energy that's on the back side. So this system is still digging. Then you'll see right here at the very end, this starts curling, and there's the upper level spin. And there's a lot of lift that's going to be embedded within this short wave right here that moves through. So, Trenton, we just talked about that, but the timing for Northwest Arkansas is going to be mainly Thursday morning, around morning commute time with one round. And there's going to be multiple rounds. It's going to be really tough to get all the rounds, but Thursday morning for one round, Thursday afternoon, more likely, and Thursday evening is when we really get crashed, when we get crunched. If your new area is in the area, make sure you know your location on the map. Exactly, Larry. So important. Know your areas. Let it snow one last time. Well, it might not be just one last time. That's a good question. We are transitioning to more of a neutral phase, Alex. But I will say this, that winter's not over. Now, officially, meteorological winter ends in 20 minutes. Thank God. I'm ready for that thing to get out of here. And I truly mean, thank God, capital G. The problem is that winter is still going to last. Mid-March looks cold. There's a cold weather pattern that's brewing. And we're going to have to see this. Yeah. This next system is going to be crazy. People won't know because of this warming. I know. Next week looks fun also. I know. Tuesday, another big system coming in. But there it is. There's the spin in the atmosphere. There's the energy that's kicking out. There's a lot of little embedded short waves. Look at all these. And just like Saturday night when all those thunderstorms popped up, well, guess what? Those weren't predicted by the models a couple days out, like the situation we're in right now. Let's see if we have the newest day one. I doubt they're going to issue it. I'm really interested to see what the new day two is going to show. Nope, they have not updated the new day one yet. So this is the day two. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, Brent. And we mentioned that. Wednesday is going to be fine. You're going to be absolutely fine. I hope people aren't confused, being like, oh, where was the storms? It didn't do anything. Northwest Arkansas, I can't rule out an isolated storm, but I don't think we see much tomorrow. Now, if you're in Scott and Logan County, as well as LaFleur County, you're going to have to be watching it. So we're going to have a lot more details tomorrow as high-resolution model data comes available. They're still not going to pick up perfectly on exactly what's happening. So how much snow? This is a good question. Let's see what we have for snow accumulation. I haven't even looked at this, but stupid and silly. There's that energy that's coming in, and so it's got a little bit of a dusting. I think the model is a little warmer, and it's been trending warmer. Look at the GFS has a tiny little bullseye right over Kingston. Laura Walden, that's for you. I always call you Waldron, but Laura Walden, that's for you. Man, I'll tell you what, Dwayne, Southern Arkansas is going to be just outrageous. I think it's going to be bad news. So what are some things that could lessen the severe weather threat? Well, number one, we could have a lot of thunderstorm activity because of the strength of this system. As it moves in, it could fire up additional thunderstorms. Those additional thunderstorms could lead to lessening the instability and therefore weakening the severe weather threat. Another thing that could weaken the storms is, what about all of the energy that comes in and it fires off storms in a linear fashion? We'll still have that potential for QLCS tornadoes because the wind shear is off the charts, just kind of like what Oklahoma City saw. And the energy swinging in, that's what I don't like. Whenever these storms go negative tilt right over you, that's trouble. So the models will probably have a better handle on the thunderstorm activity for Thursday. I'll tell you, tomorrow is going to be no slouch at Dallas and southern Arkansas. There's going to be storms and potentially tornadoes in the evening. And we're going to have the latest blog, so make sure you continue to stay tuned, and we'll keep you updated with everything. We got a real busy one. Memphis, Texas had a wind gust of 114 from the storms the other night. Yeah, not only that, Brent, you mentioned that, but the Razorbacks, the basketball team was a little turbulent today, and they had some turbulence yesterday when they were trying to fly into Knoxville. They had some wicked storms that they were trying to land in. 100-mile-an-hour winds of 87 knots that was reported aviation-wise. So looks like that turbulence from the plane ride just kind of transitioned and lingered over into the game. But I did not see that wind gust. Yeah, this keeps up. Spring will be bad. Brewers and Astros. Wow. And that sucks we lost, by the way. Yeah. And not just lost, but got destroyed. What else you want to see? I'll go 3 more minutes. I'll go until 30 minutes. And I have about 100 people on here, so you can tell I'm getting pretty tired, but we got a busy one the next couple of days. Oh, didn't mention this. The flooding. There's already a flood watch. Flood watch has been issued. So I gotta mention something. I know you guys want to know about your individual towns, but I hope you understand we can't predict exactly where thunderstorms are going to develop. If we could, it would be a miracle, and it would make my job a whole heck of a lot easier. But I can tell you, Diana, that there will be storms everywhere. Everywhere is going to see rain Thursday night. There's no doubt about that. So there's the flood watch that's issued. So this is a little bit more of an intense system than, believe it or not, Sunday night into Monday morning. And on top of that, we already have the warmth. Sunday, we were kind of cloudy and cool, and I think things are going to change a little bit. So, but yeah, Diana, no problem. It's going to be mainly, and I know you want to know for your town. I get it. I do. I promise I get it. But when we're a couple days out, there's going to be some storms potentially Thursday morning that could or could not happen. What is the tornado watch likelihood for Northwest Arkansas? I'm going to say it's a little lower than the River Valley. I might go like 30% for a tornado watch in Northwest Arkansas, maybe 40. Nah, we won't do that. We'll go 60%. 40 just doesn't sound good. 35%. How about that? 35% for the tornado watch in Northwest Arkansas, but a very likely tornado. I would go 99% in the River Valley. Yep. So the car was full of dirt because all that dust from the Texas Panhandle was getting kicked up and trained into the updrafts. The cloud droplets formed on those dust particles known as a cloud condensation nuclei, and that's what allowed the dirty rain, if you will. It was kind of like absorbing that dust as a rain particle, and then it was raining mud, essentially. I got my car cleaned too today. Praying we get the storms during the day that will weaken the atmosphere. Yes, exactly. That's a good possibility. But again, we'll have to see how it happens. Ensembles for snow on Friday. Let's do that later. Let's do that tomorrow. With an occasional ice ball, yeah. Diana, it is possible, but the problem is we just got to get the weather to calm down. There is a storm shelter map. I saved it. That's a good question. Going hangry. Yep. Tornado concern. Where would you hide in a home with only interior room being the laundry room where the water heater is? If it's an interior room and it's your closest room into the center of your house, that's a good spot. even though the water heater is there. With the water heater, you're actually going to have reinforced plumbing in the walls that may keep it a little bit stronger. So 12 minutes till meteorological spring. Should I go till midnight? Boy, I don't know. Pea Ridge does have a storm shelter. We're talking about mass chaos for Thursday. I am about to close my eyes. They're closing without me. Well, I'd love to come, Diana. I'll see if I can make it happen, but this weather pattern is just it's wearing me out. I'm gonna try to get a workout in tomorrow because healthy body, healthy mind. But what was I going to show you? Oh yeah, let me see if I can easily find this. Then I will let you know. But I do have it saved. I'm almost positive I do. Hold on. Ha! Do. Stand by. This is actually something that someone made, and it's fantastic. So let me share this, and we'll end it this way. So this is Chris Suri. He made this, and it's really awesome. But this isn't, and I'll post the link on here. This is a look at all the tornado shelters in Northwest Arkansas, and you can see the colors on here. If you click on it, it'll tell you what it is. Pea Ridge, open during school hours, accessible for all, and then there's the Pea Ridge tornado shelter right there. Other than that, nothing in Northwest Arkansas. We come over here, and there's the Benton County tornado shelter in Decatur. And we work our way south into the River Valley, and there's a much better storm shelter system. And if you go over here, you can actually see what the key is. Let me see if I can find it. So if I go to map details, this will tell you the different dark blue shelter inside police station, red, purple. So it gives you all the description on what it is, which I think is super cool. So there's the states. I don't know where all that state stuff is, but anyways, you zoom out and you can get them all across the country, which is really cool. Look at all the storm shelters in Alabama. Wow, that's incredible. But very much a lack of them in Northwest Arkansas. So it's kind of something interesting, isn't it? So, whoops, a cool site nonetheless. Yeah, I know. Exactly, Alex. Go home and eat. So normal is good question. I have no idea what normal is. So let's put a pin in that photograph, okay? And I'll look at that tomorrow. Someone asked, who was that? Kat. No, yeah, I thought it was Kat because she asked about it. I don't see it anymore though. Where was that? Aha, Kat, it was. The other day, Reed Timmer posted a photograph. We'll go through that tomorrow, okay, when I have a little bit more time and a little bit more help. I still got some more stuff I got to do here before I go home. So with that being said, watch out. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. Still haven't updated the day one outlook. I know as soon as I get off, it'll be updated. Spotter training, just check out the website on NWS and we'll have to see how that goes. All right. Later, guys. I'm falling asleep. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. Have a great rest of your meteorological winter. Goodbye. Get out of here. And happy spring, meteorological spring here in 7 minutes. Later.